Now, there's been a topic that I've been wanting to cover and have been very active about on my Instagram. So if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, definitely check it out. Challenge Score Codes. Very, very much so been an activist and an advocate for the certain topic. And that has been what has been kind of splurging up, especially here on the West Coast of the world, where you're seeing a lot of hate crimes, xenophobia against Asian Americans. And then isn't to say, that's just Chinese or Vietnamese people, which, if you guys aren't aware of my ethnicity, I am half Chinese, half Vietnamese. And you're seeing attacks on them. You're seeing attacks on Japanese, attacks on Filipinos. So, you're getting the full spectrum there. And it's disheartening to see. And it also just, straight up pisses me off that you're seeing this all unfold because of the virus now, and to see it here in the hometown. And what makes it even worse is that it's elderlies. For those of you guys who aren't of, an Asian descent or did not grow up in the culture, our elders are very, very important to us. We are taught from a very young age and have always been that way where, the elders always get the most respect. And that's not to say we disrespect anybody in the family, but, when your elders are speaking or when the elders, are around, you show them the utmost respect. And that's always been the case in any Asian culture for that matter. I've been to my friends' houses and, I see the respect that they give, and I definitely give respect to the elders, even not in my family. So to see the videos that are circulating around, to see some of them even die is something that I can't even wrap my head around. As I've grown up and, seeing those videos reflecting on my ethnicity now, like I said, I'm Chinese and Vietnamese. So very, very just, straight up Asian. Growing up in the neighborhood that I grew up in, growing up in the schools that I went in, it was very white dominant. So a lot of racism, a lot of bullying because of who I was. And, you can kind of just guess and assume what jokes were circulated around and were thrown at me regarding my eyes, the stereotypes, all of that. And now also be in tech as a YouTuber, to be a developer professionally now, you start to really see the stereotypes and all that unfold now. You get a lot of messages being on the platform that I have now where people are watching me, people are noticing me, and you get some of those folks that DM me like, stay in your lane. What are you doing? Why are you advocating for things like this? Even when the Black Lives Matter movement started and has still going on, I still advocate for that kind of stuff, because racism in general, no matter what color or no matter what ethnicity you are, doesn't matter. It's unacceptable and it should not happen. But even though we say this and even though we advocate for this so much, it still goes on. So this is just one of those things where now it's hitting home for me. It's Asian Americans that are getting affected. It's Asian Americans that are getting attacked and just verbally abused, physically abused, even killed now. So it's one of those things where it's now enough is enough. Going back to the childhood, I grew up with it. As an Asian American growing up in a very white dominant neighborhood, you just get it. It comes by default. You come to expect it after a certain period of time. Where, yes, after I went to high school, I mentally prepared myself to hear the same jokes, the same sort of racism that I grew up hearing as a kid. And I saw my dad get it. I saw my mom get it. I saw everybody in the family get it. And it's not fun to see. I feel like we've definitely, as Asian Americans, have stayed quiet up until now. We've stayed more quiet than our black counterparts. We've stayed more quiet than any other race that has had any sort of backlash or any sort of racial injustice brought upon them. And now is definitely the time. Now is definitely the time to stand up and push against this kind of stuff. Now is definitely the time to speak out and use our platforms for moments like this where we need to stand up for our family and for our people. This is the moment that we need to come together as a group, as a whole, and really speak against and put the people that are doing this to us on blast and make sure that the right people are in the know so that justice can be served. There was a perfect example of this when we saw this Asian Uber driver, who was physically attacked and mocked and abused from 3 passengers in his in his ride, and he did the right thing. Thankfully, he had it on video. Thankfully, he did not take them and fulfill his duty, because he's not obligated to do that if they're not willing to follow the policy set in place by Uber or any of the rules set in place. Thankfully, they're caught now. So it's moments like that where it's beautiful to see justice get served and the right people put behind bars or turn themselves in that situation. And in a time and age where we are at, where there are more cameras than human beings around us now, I want to make sure, and I wish that and hope for anybody who's being racially acted against or being verbally abused because of their ethnicity, speak up, do something about it. Don't just stand idle. Don't stand still. The fact that we're getting this because of a virus is just mind-boggling to me. You know, some of the people that are just so blind to it all, that want to blame every single Asian for something so catastrophic and has affected the whole world is just benign and stupid, to be honest. That's what I wanted to talk about today. I just wanted to reflect on our ethnicity, my ethnicity, what's been happening in the world. You know, there's been a lot of hate crime and a lot of xenophobia that I just can't stand anymore. So to those of you guys who are Asian American, and like I said, that it lumps all of us into one. It doesn't seclude anybody who is Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese. It doesn't matter. We're all one right now. If you are Asian American or Asian in general, speak up, use your platforms. I want to use my platform for good. I've been blessed enough to be put into a position where I have a platform to use. I've been blessed enough to be put in a position where I can actually use my voice for good. But that doesn't mean that you can't. If you have a social media account, you have a voice. You're able to speak and use it. So use it. Use it for good and stop Asian hate. Stop all of this dumb shit that's been happening. It's not right. You know it's wrong. You advocate for that, and you are disgusted by this video, then absolutely just leave. I'd rather not have any sort of racist followers or subscribers following me anyways. You guys know what to do. Again, just use your platforms, use your voices for the right thing. That being said, I hope you guys would join me and join the rest of us that want to fight for this kind of movement and fight for just justice in the world when it comes to Black, Asian, doesn't matter. So use it for good, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.